Hi, good morning, guys. It's Monday morning, probably like 8 o'clock in the morning. I just wanted to kind of tell you my plan for the week. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you've seen that the head gasket on the 2 door is blown. It's getting worse and worse. It's to the point where I don't even take it home. I've been leaving it up here at work. But I got the head bolts in. I'm looking at them right now. They're in the seat. I got some new head bolts. I'm just gonna stick with regular bolts for now because it's stock bottom end, you know, low boost, low power. I just don't see a need for head studs like as of right now. And as far as the head gasket, I think I'm just gonna buy a Felpro from you know, whatever part store has one in stock. And I think what I'm gonna try and do is copper coat it, because from what I hear, the Felpros are notorious for being thin, a lot thinner than like an OEM Honda gasket and other alternatives or whatever. So I'm gonna copper coat it to maybe, you know, increase the thickness a hair maybe, and see if it does anything for durability. I don't know. I'm just kind of messing around. It just seemed like an interesting idea. I have seen other people do it. I kind of looked it up, and it is a thing. People do copper coat their head gaskets, and it's kind of up in the air if it's like if it actually helps, if it's the same, if it's worse. A lot of people say that they have had success with it, that they haven't had any issues, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's better than not doing it. But just for the hell of it, I'm gonna go ahead and copper coat it just to see. That's it. A lot of weird comments in my 2-door videos. They're telling me, like, you know, how to change the head gasket and blah blah blah. It's not that I don't know how. It's that I'm just fucking lazy and I don't want to do it. That's all it is. I'm just holding it off. I was trying to make some more content, and so it comes down to breakdown and try to change out the head gasket. And I'm actually gonna have to do it in the parking lot, because I'm kind of like at a weird stage right now where they're fixing to move me from the shop where I'm at now in the front. They're putting me in the brand new shop here in the back, and but there's no set date. It could be a week, 2 weeks, it could be a month. There's no set time. I really wanted to wait till they stuck me in the back shop, but I don't want to have the car down for that long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and freaking swap the head gasket out here in the parking lot. And if I need tools, at least my box is, like, you know, in the same fucking parking lot. So that should be pretty interesting. First thing I need to do is find a spot that this car can stay in for a couple days, because I'm going to be doing it on my lunch break little by little, like I usually do, because I don't have time to really do anything anymore. So I'm just going to find a good spot to park this car, and maybe, like, if I do 30 minutes a day of work, I could probably do it like in, you know, I don't know, 3 days, just kind of taking it easy. I haven't started this car in a while. It's cold start. Yeah, but I can't wait until they put us in the new shop, because I'm going to drop the trans and finally open up the case and replace that input shaft bearing. Can you hear it? Yeah, it sounds pretty bad. Alright, so this looks like as good a spot as any to dissect my car real quick. I'm probably just gonna start with the easy stuff today. Just unplug everything, like the injectors and plugs on the throttle body, and maybe some of the small coolant lines. I'm not really going to get too involved today, just a little stuff. I think that's good enough for one day. You know, you saw me. I undid the injectors, all the little connectors and plugs over here. There's two under the distributor. I think this is like coolant, and this little guy here is, you know what, I don't know, I just know it's a pain in the ass to pop off. It's just a single wire, but it's good. Don't pull it by the wire, because I've seen where they just fucking pull out and break. Just grab the whole thing with some pliers or something, pull it out. Let's see, I undid some coolant lines. VTEC stuff is undone. There's really not much to it. Vacuum lines, you know, brake booster, boost gauge line undone. All the throttle body stuff. The IAC valve was kind of a pain because it plugs underneath it. The TPS, map sensor. Yeah, not a whole lot to do to prep this thing for a head gasket. I think what I'm going to do is leave the manifold attached to the head, and probably honestly even the turbo. I'm just gonna undo the downpipe, and I'll probably see if I can get someone to help me lift the entire thing straight up and out. That way I don't have to worry about breaking the seals on the intake and exhaust and the gaskets. And I think it's easier. It's not that heavy to lift the head with the manifolds attached to it, just straight up. As long as you have a person on either side lifting it straight up, it works out pretty good from my experience. Guys, it's Tuesday now, and it's actually pretty fucking cold. It's in the 30s. Yesterday I want to say it was like in the 60s, maybe 70s. Now it's 30s. Houston's really bad about that. The swings, the hard swings from hot to cold, cold to hot. So it's pretty cold. I don't think I'm going to be out here too long. You know, I'm just on my break again. I swear, like, half this car's been built on my lunch breaks. But I probably spent like 20-30 minutes wrenching on it. Just the key thing is just to keep wrenching on it. As long as I do like a little bit every day, it'll get done eventually. So yesterday, like, I unplugged everything and got some coolant lines, vacuum lines undone. Today I'm going to actually pop off the valve cover. I guess I might as well take out the head bolts and just see. It doesn't really need a whole lot. I'm just going to see what I can get done. Let's get to it. Thank you.
I had that black Golf car.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
That was true. It was cool, dude. Cool.
Yeah, I saw you and I was like, something looks clean. And I heard your turbo and I was like, oh, that thing's probably not the fastest vlog.
It actually has. It's had a blown head gasket for a couple weeks.
Oh man.
I'm actually. I'm doing the head gasket right now.
Man, that's how I was gonna have my CRX.
Yeah. They're so easy to work on.
I know, it was nice.
Yeah.
Take it easy, dude.
You too.
Thanks, Joe.
I didn't really get as much done as I wanted to. Kind of ran out of time. It's a lot of little things you got to do to pull the head off. On the 4-door, when I pulled the head most recently, I didn't have a power steering pump, nothing like that in the way. But on this one, it's in the way. I forgot about that. I got to get the power steering pump off tomorrow. And there's like a coolant line going to the back of the intake manifold. And after that, I'm ready. I think I'm ready to pull the head. There's 2 head bolts I couldn't get to, which I don't really need to crack the head loose just yet, because coolant will, you know, fill up the fucking chambers and all that shit. But I don't know why. I should have waited to do the head bolts last. I don't know what I was thinking. But there's 2 head bolts where you can't fit a 1/2 inch 14mm deep socket in there. You got to use a 3/8 thin wall. In my case, I'm gonna have to get like a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. I'm gonna have one in my toolbox. You know, it's cool that I'm doing it here. Everything I need is just right a couple steps away. So that helps out a lot. But tomorrow I'm gonna be pulling the head off. I'm probably gonna need to get a second pair of hands and lift the whole fucking thing, the head, intake manifold, the exhaust manifold, everything. I'm just gonna take it all up and out. As long as you have a second set of hands or some help, and to me, I think it's easier that way. I'm gonna leave the fuel rail alone, the injectors. I did have an issue with the leaky injector. Like, I got the O-ring just right to where it stopped leaking, so I don't want to crack none of that shit loose. I don't want to. Everything is good, you know. I'm cheap. I don't have to buy new gaskets this way if I don't have to crack loose the intake and the exhaust manifold. Blah blah blah. I don't know, and I'm lazy. Again, I'm fucking lazy. I want to do the least amount of work as possible, but sometimes that bites you in the ass. Trying to do less is actually more. You know, there's certain shortcuts you can't really take. You gotta sometimes do more. Sometimes more is less, and less ends up being more in some cases. But we'll just see how this plays out. Did that make any sense? Tomorrow, head's coming off, so see you then. So it's kind of bugging me, like, how close I got to getting the head ready to pull off. So before I leave for the day, I thought I'd grab the two 14mm bolts, 14mm bolts that I had left in here. I had to grab a 3/8 thin wall 14mm. It was like, I think it was this one and one over here. I had to use the 3/8 socket on, but so I got that off. Oh, the power steering pump, I don't think it has to come off all the way, but I did, because I wasn't sure. But really the main issue is there's a bolt going through the power steering bracket here into the head. So this bracket also bolts to the block, so if you don't take that bolt off, it's like, you know, holding the head onto the block. So this is where I'm at now. Front is free. Yeah, pretty much the head's 99% ready to pull off. I just gotta pull the throttle cable, take off the drain coming out from underneath the turbo, and that's it. Tomorrow on my lunch break, I'm gonna get a second set of hands and lift this whole thing up and out. And of course, while it sits here overnight, I'm gonna put the valve cover back on there. I don't want any crap falling in there. This is what's about to happen. I'm about to try and lift everything by myself and put it in the back of my CRV. The second set of hands that was supposed to help me had to go to a dentist appointment. So I promised you I'd get the head off today, and I'm gonna do it. I'm about to get a goddamn hernia. Alright, got the head off. Obviously made a pretty huge mess in the process. So to kind of pinpoint which cylinder was leaking, or because this car is burning coolant, you know, it depends where the head gasket blows. It'll give you different symptoms, but like, for example, this is all coolant passages around the combustion chambers. These are for the head bolts, they're just full of coolant, but these are actually this is the oil drain right here. So like, for example, if the gasket blew between the coolant jacket here and the oil drain, it'd be mixing coolant and oil. But in this case, it was just burning the coolant off. It wasn't mixing coolant and oil. So the issue was between the combustion chamber and the coolant jacket around the chamber. And you can kind of find where the issue is by looking at the pistons and finding the cleanest one. And in this case, the cleanest piston is this one. And that happens because when even a little bit of coolant gets in there, it basically steam cleans that piston. It's kind of like you seafoaming like an individual piston. That's all really seafoam does anyway, is it kind of, in a sense, like steam cleans, you know, the pistons. So this one's the cleanest. So that one, that's pretty unusual, because usually it's like cylinder 1. but in this case it was cylinder 3. So I went, started looking at the head gasket, and to kind of find it, what you're looking for is like carbon buildup from the inside of the piston going out to the jackets here. These little holes around the piston, that's where the coolant's gonna be flowing between the block and the head. So this is the cylinder 3, and if I lift up the gasket, you can see carbon spreading out into the coolant passage right there. So this is probably where the coolant was getting into the chamber and being burned off. Yeah, so I'm gonna call this video a wrap. I'm gonna clean the shit out of the block, clean the shit out of the head, and pretty much just pray that it's not warped. I think I'm gonna copper coat the new gasket just to kind of see if it you know, holds up any better, and that's pretty much it. It really helps, and comment below if you have any questions, or if you want your video featured, shoot me in on Facebook or Instagram, something like that. I'll feature it on my channel. But thanks for watching. See you next one. I'm gonna neutral slam it.
The fuck? You still fix that?
Bullshit to that too, huh? Episode 2 of the fuck, what's the title?